we're already here. It is April 14th.
Yeah.
Amazon EU Masters has begun. And I'm so excited to see more of that in the group stage as well. Because just remember, that's not included our first seeds from the other regions. That's not including all of the big names. Because, I mean, that's one of the crazy things about this Amazon EU Masters is how many huge names are playing across the entire bracket, right? We have so many ex-LEC players, so many players that are hyped up and could well be moving into LEC as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you see so many of these ex-LEC players, but oftentimes it's not just themselves that are popping off. It's those people who are making the new name for themselves. The people that are going to be the next generation of that LEC talent. And I mean, when you see like the first ever competitive Zilean pentakill and stuff like this, you're like, you know what? Maybe we'll keep our eyes on these kind of picks. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like that's a crazy sentence just in of itself, right? I wouldn't have ever expected a Zilean pentakill, but I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it. Let's take a look at what's going to be coming your way today as we bring in our schedule. We'll talk through the matchups that are coming your way because we're starting off with a bit of a banger, it has to be said. AGO Rogue up against Vitality.Bee. It's the Ultra Liga up against the LFL, and you know we're going to be starting strong.
I mean, you have to be doing right. And even then, you've got like the rematch as well with BDS Academy going up against Team ESCA Gaming. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, like you always got to look at like the major regions that have been so strong across the board with EU Masters. Like you've got the Spanish League that's still there later on in the day to play. We've got Bifrost representing the NLC, and even the Italian League as well always kind of has a few surprises up their sleeve. So I'm always excited to see what these teams are capable of.
I'm really excited to see all of the different LFL teams that we're going to be seeing across the course of the tournament as well. We've got 4 LFL teams across the group, so a lot to be keeping your eyes on there. But LDLC, you know, super storied. This Vitality.Bee roster, very exciting. Even the BDS roster as well. Incredibly exciting to see how they're going to be able to form in the group stages. And I mean, it's EU Masters, right? So as always, I'm just curious as to which region comes out on top, because it's not just about one team, Dagda. It's never just about one team. It's always about the regional strength. And, you know, every single time the seedings are announced, every single time the number of teams is announced, there's always massive controversy on Twitter because nobody's ever happy because their region is under. And I can't wait to see what the final standing is going to look like and how accurate that seeding has ended up.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's always about like having a bit of that regional pride, getting to see a lot of your players like push forward. And especially as you kind of look like towards some of the smaller regions there, like we talked about, like the Baltics, the Balkans, these kind of regions that, particularly like the Balkans, as we said, like this is a region I've always been a big fan of just to see. Delighted to see Double Aim back as well, because like I got to meet him back in 2018 when we did Summer. Such a cool dude, likes to go around like flexing on people. It's like I'm delighted to see him back with Kratos face still. So like there's a lot of these regions and teams that I'm kind of like delighted to see coming through again, because it is just such, well, kind of shows like the story of the region itself, the story of the organization, but also then kind of getting to see how these guys develop over that period of time, playing against some of these big organizations and these big regions. You can see how they've improved over that course of time.
And also another really exciting like improvement story that we so often see here in the Amazon EU Masters is when you have a couple of rookie players or even a single rookie player that's surrounded by veterans. And I feel like there's 4 or 5 different rosters that fulfill that exact type. And it's so fun watching those rookie players pop off, have that veteran voice in their ear to help them like keep it under control, but showing that raw mechanical skill. Like so many European players over the European history have been that rookie on an all-star roster that has then been able to become the big carry. So those kind of stories are always what I like to watch for. But before we actually jump into the games, we do have to figure out how on earth this tournament is going to be run. So I'm going to kick it over to a video where we explain the format.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Amazon EU Masters, the tournament that pits the very best ERL teams against one another. 11 regions will compete, so join the hype and be the first to discover Europe's hottest new talent. Let's get right into it. Amazon EU Masters begins with the play-in group stages, where all regions will have at least one team represented with a total of 16 teams divided into 4 groups. A draw takes place to decide which teams are placed in what group. Each team will play against other teams in their group twice in a best of 1. The top 2 seeds from each group move into the play-in knockout stage. Knockout matchups will be determined by another group draw. Top seeded teams will be drawn against second seeded teams. Here, the 8 teams will play in a best of 3 against one other team, with the winners qualifying for the main group stage, where 12 other teams have already pre-qualified. The group stage is where teams will compete in a double round robin, with the top 2 teams advancing to the knockout stage. The top seeds will play against the second seeds from other groups in a best of 5, where the winners will move on to the semi-finals. Here, the final 4 teams will play a best of 5 and fight for their spot in the finals, where there'll be one more best of 5 to determine the Amazon EU Masters champion. Who will take the crown and become the next European king? I, for one, can't wait to find out. So mark your calendars, it's going to be a fun one, and we'll see you there.
So now you know how it works. We've got to see some games. We've got to get onto the Rift Dagda and see how things pan out. So we'll start with our first match of the day. It's AGO Rogue up against Vitality.Bee. Dagda, I'm going to hit you with a high-level question straight off of the bat. I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Oh, no.
We've got Ultraliga seed number 1 from Poland. We have an LFL play-in seed on the other side from Vitality. Where are you pitting these guys in terms of regional strength? It's Ultraliga 1 versus LFL play-ins. Like, where do they line up?
I've been on the show for maybe 10 minutes and you're trying to throw me into the Twitter DM.
You're the analyst. I'm the play-by-play. I get to just throw the hot stuff at you.
Personally, I think for Vitality.Bee have been really impressive for me. I think looking at like Jactroll and Skeanz and how they've linked up together, I think are really good. AGO Rogue, though, I'm kind of waiting to see some of the smoother games come through from me is my big one. I think Rabble has some really good spots where he'll go super aggressive and can like set up really well. I think Sinmivak in the top lane is a bit of a beast as well, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, so as you can see, Vitality.Bee's lineup there, and a lot of names that you'll probably recognize already. You know, Szygenda, Skeanz, Jeskla, Jactroll, all having played in the LEC. We've got Diplex in the mid lane as well, who I'm excited to see. It's exactly what I was saying earlier, right? A rookie in amongst veteran names.
Yeah, and I think it's, again, kind of you're getting to see that veterancy rise to the top, right? Szygenda being super solid at that top lane. As I said, like I think look at like Jactroll, who came across into this team, like watching his like former teammates move on into the LEC with Certus kind of moving on there, and then not having Zlatan to kind of pair with. I was looking to see how he would link up with Skeanz, and it's been absolutely incredible. So I'm delighted to see that this team is still doing well, and I'm looking at that jungle support to see how they're going to do.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can link up on the big stage. That's the big question. But over to the Ultraliga now. Let's look at AGO Rogue's roster, and crucially, it's important to mention that beansu has been stepped in here at the last second. It was Leon during the playoffs, so a slightly different take on the AGO Rogue lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how beansu is going to try and tackle Jactroll in that role. But I mean, the rest of the guys, I mean, you're going back towards what has been so strong and working for them with Sinmivak, this big carry player in the top lane. Rabble as well, producing a crazy high amount of damage and like massive goal percent in that jungle role as well, and kind of stepping up to be like the main engage tool for them and kind of being the guy that's trying to set up a lot of these early river plays and early invades that seem to be kind of the big forefront for this squad.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a lot of this matchup is going to be down to those jungles and supports leading the charge for their squads. But Dagda, it's the first champion select of the Amazon EU Masters Spring 2022. We're in our group stage, it's underway, and we're into our ban phase. So we've got Bloomigan as well from the Rogue team. I'm sure you guys will recognize him from coaching LEC as well. First ban's going to be Carl.
Yeah, kind of surprised to see the Akali coming through. I thought we'd be kind of like taking a step back. Like, this was actually what I expected from Vitality.Bee, right? Because when you look at Nite, very much a facilitator kind of mid lane. Like, you're looking at things like the Twisted Fate, the Rise. Nite wants to try and get out and help out guys like Sinmivak in the top side of the map. So you can see already the TF band away as well. So getting rid of these picks. Whereas when we look at Karos at AGO Rogue, definitely trying to target these more like big carry-oriented players. I know Szygenda has been willing to take like the Akali blind, but actually I see the Zeri band away, usually a red side ban.
Yeah, the Zeri, something that Rogue apparently not really willing to play, and then a Jace going to be banned away as our final ban for the draft. So, you know, Jinx and Aphelios, both perfectly available if either team wants to go for that, but it's straight away with a Volibear going for the jungle.
Yeah, I love the Volibear pick. I think he's just so strong at the moment. We saw the Hecarim was kind of the big baller on the patch for a while, but people just realized, look, we take the Volibear, we get out onto the map quicker, but Jeskla going to go back towards one of his true and standard, his Aphelios coming through, and I just love the Ahri. I think there's very few counters to it at the moment. Great party, works on team fights, going to try to like move to these lanes and even work with the jungle, and that's something that we talked about with Jactroll and Skeanz, wanting these kind of like aggressive picks in the early stages so they can link up and look for those invade plays. All
right, well, fast rotation here with a Misfortune for FLICKR and a Veigar for Nite. It's kind of the classic pick against the Ahri, right? Lock it down, remove that mobility, and immediately on the other side, another lock-in of an Olaf there for Skeanz.
Yeah, I'm actually a bit worried about the Olaf pick here because I think Misfortune does really well against Olaf and the Aphelios, right? Because you get this big Misfortune ult that comes over the top. You've got the baby cage as well to just lock them all up there. So I actually really like the draft that AGO Rogue have gone for so far. Like, control jungle, great team fighting, and then you got to see what Vitality are going to be trying to pick up here. The Gnar ban coming through in response to the Camille with Jace gone as well. I'm kind of trying to figure out, like, if we're going to end up seeing something like a Gangplank or something for Szygenda in that top lane, or because you're kind of looking at, like, what are going to be the weak side top laners that are left, and you're starting to run out of positions here.
Yeah, the Gragas as well, something that we've seen in a fair few of the ERLs. There's the Gangplank that you talked about banned off the board. Yuumi as well, not necessarily a ban that I was expecting a massive amount of across the course of the tournament, but it is incredibly annoying to deal with in the right situation. It can be incredibly obnoxious. Over to Vitality.Bee, they go with a Karma.
Yeah, so basically the idea being here, hey, look, we want the Karma to link up with this Olaf. Same way as you kind of look towards something like a Lulu can do really well in that regard. And especially when you're looking at, like, beansu now stepping into the support role, you're kind of going, hey, look, if we can take this, like, poke comp, make it really uncomfortable in the spot side of the map against this Nautilus, should work out pretty well for us. But I'm going to get the Ornn on as well. So, I mean, for AGO Rogue, they're just going straight for this team fight, right? And we're going, hey, look, if we just set up shop with all the CC we have and a bullet time over the top, we're going to be in a great spot.
I mean, they got Mythical on this one, right? They've got the Thunder God, they've got the Forge God, they've got all kinds of gods inside of AGO Rogue, but it's going to be a Gwen locked in as our final pick for Vitality.Bee, and that's, you know, with the big nerfs that we saw a few patches ago, Gwen's still one of these champions that a lot of players unsure on, but clearly Szygenda had to bring it to the table.
Yeah, I'm looking at Vitality.Bee's lineup though and going, like, where's your engage, right? Like, you are all about trying to, like, run into the face of people, but you don't really have anyone that's going to threaten the MF if she sets up correctly. You've got a lot of zone control coming through with the Ornn and also the Veigar. So honestly, this is kind of Vitality.Bee going, hey, look, we're just going to get control of the early stage. If we can work with this Olaf and he gets big enough when we don't have to worry about it, right? But honestly, if it just goes to the late game, I love what AGO Rogue have drafted here.
I mean, if they could set up shop with the Veigar, with the Ornn there, like, how do you ever walk towards this team from AGO Rogue? It's going to be a difficult task for Vitality.Bee. But that said, this is a squad coming from the LFL. You expect them to be able to just brute force situations like this. And I think a lot of it could come down just to the laning as well, right? When we see these guys going up against each other in lane, you know, you've got the Ornn for the team fights. It's not exactly going to dominate the 1v1, so that's where I'm looking at the early.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of what have come through for Vitality.Bee here is, like, okay, we're going to get Jactroll out of lane by pushing the lane. We're going to link up with Skeanz and the Olaf. We got Ahri set up in the mid lane onto the Veigar. Let's just try and power through this mid lane, get a ton of early kills. Then we can start to look up towards Gwen, who's got a great matchup with the Ornn. It's very much a case of get the ball rolling early, but if they fail to do so, I mean, I love what's coming out for on the opposite side for AGO Rogue, so we'll have to see if they can actually manage on Vitality.Bee side to get that early aggression.
We will have to see. I'm also going to keep my eyes on Rabble in this one because AGO Rogue's jungler, very aggressive, loves to make the plays, and we'll see if he's going to do it as we head to Summoner's Rift. It's game number 1 of the Amazon EU Masters Spring 2022. We're on to the Rift. We're into our first game, and I'm so hyped to see Ultraliga up against LFL to kick it all off.
It's going to be such a banger. I'm so excited for this. Man, it's good to be back. It's good to be back kind of doing the EU Masters because it's been a hot minute, but you, as we say, like, you always get to see the new talent that's coming up. You get to see, like, the guys kind of shining beside some of that veteran talent, especially because you get to look at, like, guys who used to be in the LEC, like Szygenda, Skeanz, Jeskla, Jactroll. You kind of get to show your stuff against the guys that have been to that top tier, and especially when you look across at people on, like, AGO Rogue, like Sinmivak, who big carry player traditionally. Now on the Ornn, though, not going to be kind of going towards his traditional style, but gets to show something a little bit different when he gets to the stage.
Yeah, he certainly does. And I want to take a second to kind of inspect this AGO Rogue roster just a little bit, because when you look across AGO Rogue's history as an organization within the Ultraliga, they've been super dominant. Over the last 5 seasons of Ultraliga, they came first, second, first, third, and first. These guys domestically, they dominate. They do not take any nonsense within their region. But when it comes to EU Masters, it's been a while since we've seen their success. Like semi-finals in 2020 summer, they then won. They were the champions. In 2020 summer, they were the champions. They were semi-finals in spring. But then since then, 2021, they weren't able to get out of groups in either EU Masters.
Yeah, but it's a name that we're all too familiar with, the EU Masters. Like, they've basically hit EU Masters ever since the inception of the Rogue Academy team. And when they've got the like people like Bloomington coming in from the LEC, now the coaching staff, a name that's well known within EU League of Legends. Like, you kind of expect a lot from this squad. It's just unfortunate, obviously, that beansu stepping in for Leon. They don't get to play with the regular support, but at least the Nautilus here providing that still tankiness that beansu's used to in the top lane.
Oh, there's a bit of a hook in the bottom side. beansu being a bit aggressive, but not going to be too much coming out until that level 2 spike, right? And with Jeskla and Jactroll having control in this bottom lane, they'll have the level 2, and you can see AGO Rogue's bot lane just fully respecting this one. I want to take a look at the junglers here, Dagda, because Rabble is in this bottom side. With Vitality.Bee pushed this far, could be an opportunity.
Vitality.Bee did ward the bot side here, so they know that the Raptors are still up, so they're trying to keep an eye on where Rabble is, because they already know, like, if you've done any sort of scouting from AGO Rogue, Rabble loves to make these aggressive plays happen. Will pretty much just babysit his lanes to make sure that they can get to a point where they get these early advantages. But, I mean, he will now be spotted on that ward that was placed by Diplex, so Skeanz with full information, and that is going to be dangerous in the hands of Skeanz, because as we said, this is the man that I'm keeping my eyes on to work with Jactroll to get these early kills and start seeing if you can pressure the map, especially when you got Diplex who should have priority in mid. Like, link up with that bot side and see if you can make any sort of dives happen.
All right, we're looking towards that bottom lane, and Diplex, if he can roam down there, Skeanz, if he can get involved. Skeanz currently on that bottom side on the Scuttle Crab, but I don't think he'll be trying to get underneath the tower this early on. They're going to have to wait a little bit for that one as he moves up to the top side of the map. Rabble, however, still sticking around. He's still on the crux. He's been bot lane for a long time.
Yeah, I'm going to just be moving again into this bot side. This is kind of what you expect from Rabble, though. As you said, he's not too worried about his own individual advantage. It's much more so about trying to get his laners ahead. So Skeanz, you can see, kind of dropping the Gromp on his own side of the map to move up to top to get the double scuttle. So he will end up, it feels like, kind of resetting, going in towards this Gromp to make sure that resets. And then I'm really curious to see what the plan is for him, if he's going to link up with Diplex. Because Diplex here, right? You shove in this wave, you crash it off of Cannon, potential then to TP into some sort of bot lane play, or reset yourself and then be able to shove a wave and again make a play onto this bot half of the map. But Skeanz actually making his way topside.
Yeah, he certainly will. We should end a good little trade here as well as, like you say, Skeanz moving on up, but I think Skeanz is just trying to crash this wave, trying to keep himself safe, and then it'll be Krugs for Skeanz. And I will say this Vitality.Bee roster, I feel like coming in, not just today, but across the whole of the groups, this is a team that's kind of looking for a bit of redemption, right? In the LFL, not quite able to top the table, not quite able to find themselves that win. Domestically, having to come all the way through play-ins, and one of 4 LFL teams. And while, as an LFL supporter at home, you're going to be hyped that there's 4 teams, but as each of these individual LFL teams, you don't want the others to win. You want to be the representative. You want to be the LFL team that's taking it. So I feel like Vitality.Bee, they're going to have a little chip on their shoulder after playing this.
Especially for Vitality.Bee as well, because they have kind of been the little brother in regards to the LFL, right? You look across like LDLC, who are kind of the main guys who we've seen step up. Misfits Premier have had their time in the spotlight as well, but for Vitality.Bee, it's been trying to get themselves to be one of the big names in LFL. Now though, Jactroll, as you said, linking up with Skeanz, seeing what they can do here.
Yeah, trying to get involved in the jungle. Rabble being evaded. beansu's here, though, to try and help, as it's a jungle support 2v2, but Diplex moving over. The roots are going to be there, but Skeanz already gone before the fight even happens. Charm is there, a hook coming out from beansu. Now Looker onto the scene. Jactroll trying to back away here, but there's the AD carry of Jeskla. He's gone too deep. Flash forward from beansu. It doesn't matter if there's a sub. AGO Rogue are here to make moves.
At Vitality.Bee, we're trying to make it happen in the early stage, trying to play through what is the strong mid, jungle, and support, but AGO Rogue read them, and they're there to turn the play around. And with that, 3 quick kills over in their favor, Vitality.Bee are left scurrying away.
And it kind of feels like exactly what you described earlier on, right? When you're trying to play into this AGO Rogue roster, when they have control of the space, you don't get to escape, you don't get to move.
And that was the biggest worry for me when I saw this Vitality lineup, right? The composition that they put together, because you're kind of thinking, well, if we can't really get the engage set up, if we're running into these mega tanks like the Ornn in the later stage of the game, what can we really do? And you can see here, right? Unfortunately, Skeanz goes that bit too far forward, doesn't have access to the level 6 just yet, so ends up getting tanked, or just tanks all the CC and ends up falling behind. And then you're looking at just, again, the baby cage coming down. It's why Veigar is so good against the Ahri. It just keeps her in place so she can't use all of the dashes that she gets from the ultimate.
At least Vitality.Bee gets somewhat of a consolation prize, right? They've got the tempo coming out of the base. They're going to be able to grab themselves that Drake. I do kind of want to talk about some of the picks we've got coming into today, though, because this is not necessarily the draft I was expecting from AGO Rogue, but that's because I'm not sure you can ever predict the draft coming out from AGO Rogue. These guys are so flexible, and it feels like they've been able to go for counter picks across the board.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the idea here, right? Is, hey, look, we've got the counter picking jungle with Skeanz going for the Olaf. At least you can match some of the early clear and the early aggression from the Volibear, as long as you have help from people like Diplex, like Szygenda in the top side. Even though we've seen the Gwen kind of falling off a cliff, thanks to the range nerfs on her E, she can still do really well into the Ornn, and you can see that CS lead is starting to open up for Szygenda. But we'll have to see if Rabble is going to be able to turn that one around, as they are setting up for a dive here. Diplex starting to move from mid, though.
Yeah, Skeanz is here too. Szygenda get a bit of damage on Sinmivak. The Ornn just going to go wide. I think AGO Rogue not realizing Skeanz is in the area. I like that they see Skeanz and they're like, okay, play's over, we're out of here.
Yeah, no, they're just going to get the hell out of there. Even, as we said, like, Diplex starting to move as well. It would have been a bit of a worrisome time there for AGO Rogue if they tried to go for it. Szygenda, though, has no ult, so Sinmivak will be able to back away. But honestly, I want to start seeing AGO Rogue, and he's trying to turn some of this early success that they got.
Oh, big damage on Jeskla, forced to flash by the bullet time, but a hook from beansu. I'm not sure he's missed all game so far. The aftershock keeps him alive. Jeskla at 1 HP, but will walk away. Jactroll just barely able to protect his AD carry.
No flash for FLICKR. The Ignite was just coming off cooldown for beansu as well, but you're still not out of the woods yet. You got to be so careful of that double up, and they're just going to back away. I really think for AGO Rogue now, try and shove in, because on the spot side, because as you can see, Vitality.Bee are using the pressure they have top side to steal away this Rift Herald, and that's going to be the first Dragon and first Rift Herald now for Vitality.Bee.
Yeah, Skeanz loving these neutrals so far this game, as beansu looks for a dive, but he's just going to be rooted underneath the tower. Big damage coming onto him with an Ignite as well from Jactroll. But again, this poke. This is such an oppressive misfortune build. You go Comet, you get to just max your E and just poke anyone out of the lane.
And this is why, like, I love... Oh, hang on.
Oh my days. beansu just can't miss. More damage onto Jactroll, but the root will be turned around here. Jeskla with the ulti, and Jactroll finding a kill. 2v2.
Oh, no.
Vitality.Bee make it happen.
And I was about to say, beansu looks like he's been in this bot lane the whole time.
Jeskla died!
Yeah, you will die to the Ignite just as it ticks over, but still 2 kills going towards Jeskla. You're getting attention, though, from Rabble in the bot lane.
Oh.
This game isn't stopping.
Yeah, Rabble doesn't want to let them get away with it. Jactroll, the last remaining member of this bottom lane.
Bring around the rose.
He's managed to pull it off, managed to juke it. Rabble has to back away.
Rabble not able to find anything, but still, good fighting back from Vitality.Bee, right? They get the 2 kills on that bottom side thanks to Jeskla and Jactroll being able to turn the engage around for beansu. You've now got a Dragon in Vitality.Bee's favor as well, which can help you use a little bit of that pressure, and the opportunity as well to get this, Rift Herald down wherever you want. But we're just going to get the replay here, as beansu so low on this, and he's running the aftershock, so ends up tanking up a little bit, but you just don't have the damage in the tank to try and turn around this bot side. Like, the way, as you rightfully were saying right before this punch, you play this bot lane matchup is using the Arcane Comet, using the range advantage that you have as the Misfortune. But if you're going to go for these all-out trades where you got like crescendum on the Aphelios, you're not going to win in those long extended trades as the Misfortune.
And it did feel like maybe targeting Jactroll, not the ideal play, right? Because Jeskla was just firing away onto FLICKR the entire time. Still had the ulti available. Remember, FLICKR had used that bullet time earlier on in the lane. So chaos in the 2v2. But overall, Dagda, how are we looking in terms of map control? Because Rabble on a ward right now. Everyone grouping up for this Dragon in a minute.
And that's what I wanted to say, is that even though we got those early kills coming through for AGO Rogue, the gold lead is only 1,000 gold in favor of the Polish representative. What we really need to see is AGO Rogue trying to turn this team fighting composition over towards these big objectives, like the Dragon that's coming up in 45 seconds, where they can try and take these fights. The Sinmivak doesn't have any TP, so he's out of the equation, but you want to try and use FLICKR with this lethality build to try and find aggressive fights here, or at least start stacking these Dragons, so you can force Vitality.Bee into fights and not give Vitality.Bee the opportunity later on to just look for cross maps as you're investing resources in towards these Dragons.
All right, looking for a little more proactivity from AGO Rogue then in this one, as it has been somewhat reactive play coming out from them so far. But regardless, they are still in the lead. And realistically, when you got an Ornn on your team and a Veigar on your team, if you're in the lead in the early game, you're probably going to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it'd be all right for you. I mean, even the fact that FLICKR is going this lethality build means that, yes, you won't have that late game damage, but at least having the Ornn coming through there will still be great. So you can definitely see how AGO Rogue's comp in the late game operates. That's where Vitality.Bee need to try and work around that. And at least if they can get this dragon for themselves again, it'll set things up nicely, because then you can just go, right, Szygenda, split push, Diplex side lane. We're just not going to look at team fights. We're just going to look to play the map as AGO Rogue are trying to get yourselves towards these dragons and trying to force team fights when you're not really threatening something like a dragon soul.
Well, it's Vitality.Bee with vision control around that dragon area, at least for now, but don't think they're looking towards that. As you can see, Skeanz pathing up towards the top side. Rabble up in the top side of the map right now as well, currently on his Gromp, but you can see his camps will be respawning. He'll be pathing down. So it's possible the Rabble can maybe finally find an opportunity to actually get into that bottom lane.
Yeah, and it's kind of been unfortunate for Rabble. Like, he has been trying thus far in the game to have some sort of action, right? We saw him hover around bot side off of first scuttle, moved up towards the top side, but couldn't make that play work. And at least at the moment, it means that the game is still going even, which I think is kind of a nice thing for AGO Rogue. But as you're owing, the Rift Herald is going to be up here in the top side. Again, I think this is great from Vitality.Bee. You're trying to play through side lanes. You're trying to play through map pressure. Giving gold to Szygenda is going to work wonders for you.
I was kind of surprised to see the Rift Herald, not because it was in the top lane, just because you're so used to seeing a jungler walk into the lane and like take the tower with the top laner. But when you've got this matchup, and when, as you can see by the CS, it's going so well for Szygenda already, you can easily finish.
And honestly, I think Szygenda's going to play surprise.
Jeskla all in on the bottom side, but the hook onto the wall. Jeskla now knocked up. In comes Rabble, disables the turret. FLICKR finishes the job as the kill goes over to Rabble. beansu trying to escape from the top side. Diplex wants to chase him down. It's a good charm and a good finish off. 1 for 1.
But on the top side, we're getting dove here. Szygenda trying to see if he can make things happen.
Yeah, on a tier 2, no less. There was a second charge from that Herald. And almost diving. Sinmivak, one more stack on the needlework here. Sinmivak does need to be cautious. It's just going to be used to clear the wave. And Szygenda has to back away.
All right, so you do get the turnaround kill on the bot side, but you actually had Nite pushing in this mid lane. So did manage to get some turret plates for himself and get some gold over in towards this Veigar's favor. So all said and done, still kind of AGO Rogue eking out a little bit ahead, but you're starting to see, like, with Vitality.Bee having the tier 1 on top down and getting that that damage with the Rift Herald onto the tier 2, Szygenda is massive, already well on his way towards that Nashor suit.
Oh, you know, Doctor, coming into this one, as let's take another look at the replay in this bottom side. Great attempt here from FLICKR to just one-shot Jeskla.
Yeah, I think, again, just a little bit of miscommunication here on, like, how to set this up. If I'm not going to, like, diss beansu, because obviously he's stepping into the support role, but if that CC had come through faster, if Rabble had been there that bit quicker, it feels like you kind of make the play happen and everyone gets out together. But nice response from Vitality.Bee with Diplex coming in to try and turn that one around.
All right, Skeanz onto the Herald once again. Skeanz loving the neutrals. It has to be said. This will be both Heralds. Already took a Drake as well in this game, as he is really focused on just getting those objectives. And when you've got Szygenda dominating the top side in this fashion, I mean, why on earth not, right? Diplex moving over on this Ahri. I think AGO Rogue want to make something happen. You see both AD carries moving up as well.
Yeah, I actually would love if AGO Rogue can find the fight, but Nite caught out.
Pick on the bottom side. Nite has enough health to survive, though. Diplex trying to back away himself, forced to flash. Now the route onto Rabble. The engage from Szygenda on the top side of the fight. Rabble over the wall, and the Moonlight Vigil in. But bullet time shreds Vitality. No kills below health bars. Nite doesn't give a monkeys. He goes in, flashes the wall, looking for more. Maybe cage around Diplexes. It's going to be Sinmivak on the top side dying. AGO Rogue, I thought they had it with the bullet time, but not enough damage.
Vitality.Bee played that so well, though. They drew AGO Rogue out of that front-to-back style of fight, which meant that Szygenda could be that big threat in the fight. That was what made the difference maker there, as we'll probably see in the replay in just a moment. But Vitality.Bee now, that Herald gonna go their way. The ability to crack open more of these towers with Szygenda pushing top. And this is what they want, the ability to keep the map wide and open and for them to avoid that team fight from AGO Rogue.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I always thought Gwen was nerfed, but it don't look good in this game, that's for sure. Let's take another look, because this felt very messy. Nite getting caught out to start.
Yeah, Nite being separated from the team isn't wonderful here, especially when you're looking at FLICKR still trying to make it up towards this fight. But because AGO Rogue take that step too far forward, trying to get onto Diplex, it gives space for Skeanz and Szygenda to be that mega threat. Even with FLICKR getting a beautiful ultimate off here, look at Szygenda's HP. Like, he's totally fine because the Shroud, Diplex isn't out of the equation either, because he knows if he can get a kill here, he'll get those resets off the Ahri passive, and Szygenda just finishes off the Ornn on the top side, making it that 2-for-1 play.
Sinmivak a little bit late on the ulti there on that one as well. 40 CS lead up in that top lane right now. 20 CS lead, though, on the opposite side for both Nite and FLICKR in their respective lanes, which means ultimately about 1,500 gold ahead for Vitality. So realistically, we talked about the scaling on this Veigar, on this Ornn. It's not the end of the world for AGO Rogue, but they would have loved to keep the lead they had. beansu caught out, hooks over to the wall. Rabble goes in, forces the ulti out from Skeanz. Just a bit of a trade, nothing too much. Drake up in a minute, though.
Yeah, but look at where Szygenda is. He already has this massive push on the top side, and someone has to go and deal with them. If you're trying to contest this dragon in 50 seconds, it feels like with the presence that Szygenda has in a side lane, it's going to be really hard for Rogue to combat both the top push and also keep their position here. Sinmivak will make his way top, though, does have the TP at least to try and join into this fight, but as long as Vitality.Bee are keeping presence on side lanes, AGO Rogue are going to find it tough to contest vision in this river.
Oh, Rabble's been caught out here, does have his ultimate available, might need to use it, but he whiffs it a little bit there. The rest of the team arriving, can they turn it around? Diplex will be knocked up, but he just jumps straight at Nite, wants the 1v1, except he's got a whole team around him. Ornn is not going to do all much as Skeanz chases down beansu. The slow is there with the undertow. The Szygenda there to finish the kill. In fact, Skeanz cuts him down. Jeskla once again gets bullet time, once again goes down. FLICKR loving the bullet time, but that's all he's got in the chamber. Has to flash away.
And Vitality.Bee are just playing so well around the vision control for AGO Rogue. Just going, look, if we can set up on this dragon first, we prevent them getting into river, we don't allow this front-to-back fight to start, well, we're going to be all good. So they make the pick happen, now they get the dragon, they're getting more towers, and, you know, compositions be damned, Vitality.Bee are just outperforming AGO Rogue on the map.
I won't lie to you, he's feeling a little bit like a Szygenda diff in this game, because he is tearing AGO Rogue apart. Look at that, 2 items finished already on top of his boots. We're only 18 minutes into the game, or 19 I suppose. And it does feel like when we're getting into these 5v5s, I mean, that's Gwen's strongest point in the game. Gwen's not even known just for the lane dominance. Like, when we get to the team fights, Szygenda's going to be a monster.
I mean, he's already proved it, right? Like, when you've got this Shroud, this is what I was kind of saying at the start of this game. Like, Szygenda, if he gets ahead, will actually be a large source of this team's damage, but here, you don't even need him. Rabble just gets caught out right as this dragon's about to spawn. We talked about Sinmivak needing to be in the top side so we could try and push the wave out, but it just means that Vitality.Bee are able to jump in, get that pick, play for these skirmishes where they're actually stronger, and it means Rogue fall apart before they even get to the objective.
And it's kind of a weird one from AGO Rogue, right? Because ultimately, that wasn't really a 5v5. Yes, all 10 players were a part of it, but it was like a 5v1, then a 5v2, then a 5v2. It wasn't ever a complete play from AGO Rogue, and it felt like they kind of overcommitted to trying to defend the players.
And that's been every fight we've seen from AGO Rogue thus far, right? That's why we're not seeing this like big FLICKR ultimate kind of pop off every time. We're seeing Sinmivak hitting multiple people with this Ornn Horde. It's just been Vitality.Bee finding these quick picks, separating out their opposition.
Oh, Rabble actually managed to get the scuttlecraft for himself. He wants to go on Skeanz, but
was it worth?
It's outnumbered here. Slowed down. Jeskla coming in. Moonlight Vigil will go wide. No Gravitum there, and the ult comes out from Rabble to escape. All things considered, I mean, they got the scuttlecraft. We call that a dub.
Yeah, I mean, it cost the ultimate, so, you know, we'll see how that one pans out. Especially if Vitality.Bee can start to now set up some plays on sides. It feels like you might be able to start a siege up in this mid lane, or at least even fall back over towards the Baron area and start to clear out some of the vision that AGO Rogue have set up. But yeah, I mean, right now, Vitality.Bee just kind of taking it slow. They know, hey, look, we've got Diplex who's gone for the Void Staff, so he would kind of like another item, just like something like the Cosmic Drive to make sure he's good, or the Horizon Focus. Sorry, Horizon Focus is what I'm thinking of. You've also got the damage for Jeskla still going to be coming through on third item, so he's going to be taking a little bit of time. Szygenda's well on his way to be an absolute monster as he takes on Sinmivak. So, I mean, Vitality.Bee, now that they've got this position and they can continue to play the map, they're going to be in a great spot.
Do you know, Dagda, we've come over from the LPL for this one, and I was a little bit nervous because sometimes the European gameplay can be a little slower. This game has delivered, though.
Yeah.
Game number 1 of the Amazon EU Masters, and it's already just been fight after fight after fight, and it feels like both teams are kind of readying up for that to happen again. Baron is on the map, and you can see Jactroll trying to maintain vision control alongside Skeanz.
But this is the thing that I loved about watching Vitality-Bee over in the LFL was how well they worked through Jactroll, through Skeanz, working with Diplex, like fighting picks on Rabble.
Rabble dodges the charm. He'll be okay on this one. That's Diplex's ult. Fairly, not the longest cooldown, but still going to be nice for AGO Rogue if they can find something in the next minute or so. But Drake not up for another 2 minutes, and I don't think Vitality-Bee are really willing to commit to this Baron.
No, that's the big problem that they're having right now, is that there's no real objective up on the map for them to try and draw AGO Rogue to, right? So they're just trying to get vision control established in the area, wait for things like the Scuttle Crab that was stolen by Rabble to time out. Now you can start to kind of play that vision denial game, see if you can actually draw the enemy in for potential picks, especially with people like Diplex, as you see consistently playing around vision and looking for charms.
Rabble moving in, has to face check to try and get vision. And it does feel like, we talked about the compositions earlier, how Vitality-Bee didn't necessarily have any hard engage. But it doesn't matter when they have control like this, right? Because AGO Rogue can't engage onto them. They can't move into the space themselves.
And this is why I was saying, look, if Vitality-Bee get a lead, they can definitely try and play this composition out, right? Because a huge amount of it is going to be looking for picks with Diplex, allowing Szygenda, as you can see, as he pushed in bot side there to like play off the side lane, then look to group. And now that you put AGO Rogue in the back foot, they have to go and deal with bot wave. Vitality, start up the Baron.
And I think in this game right now, Vitality-Bee know they are in control. Diplex has that ult available against summoners across the board here. As Rabble realizes what's up, no ult available for him. Does have flash. Can he go for the 50-50? Can he steal this one? I think Vitality are just holding Rogue at arm's length, committing to the Baron here. It will go down. Szygenda buying so much time. He's 1v3ing and getting away with it. Now the bullet time comes on through, but that's going to be Azonia's Rabble just about surviving. In comes Jeskla, trying to get onto Looker. Sinmivak falls on the front line. Double kill comes through for Diplex. Vitality-Bee, they're untouchable.
Yeah, Jeskla had phenomenal positioning in that fight. Szygenda's absorbing a ton of the harass coming through from AGO Rogue. And just like that, Vitality-Bee, they go, thank you very much, we'll take the Baron. And, oh, there's a nice little dragon spawning as well. Well, don't mind if I add a third dragon to my list.
And honestly, it feels like Vitality-Bee are playing with their feet up on the table right now. They're chilling, fully reclined gaming, because Szygenda just walks up literally 1v3, 1v4 for most of that fight while the rest of the team does the Baron, and they still just get away without a casualty.
Yeah, not a bad life for Vitality-Bee right now. And again, this only gets worse, right? Now Szygenda, with Azonia's Hourglass, which you just saw completed, he's going to be able to take over the side lane. You try and commit multiple members to that. Well, there's now 4 other members of Vitality-Bee that have the Baron, but we're just going to get the replay here. Like, Szygenda playing so well around the Hollow Mist, right? Like, you actually don't get a huge amount of damage off. They split up really well for Vitality-Bee from the Ornn Horn. And yes, you're getting good damage here from Looker, but Szygenda goes golden. Everyone else is able to back away from the damage because you're not pairing it with that Ornn ultimate. So Vitality-Bee just playing very well around kind of the mismatch ultimates that AGO Rogue threw at them.
I'm just amazed that Szygenda got away with that one. That he walked away alive after that play after buying so much time. Really impressive stuff. 2-0-4. And we've not really talked much about Diplex this game either. He's been having a fantastic game on the Ahri, and now with a Medjai's in pocket. 10 stacks already from the Dark Seal that's just been upgraded. 3 items. Diplex, if he finds a charm, he'll one-shot anything.
And it's really cool to see Diplex interacting with like Skeanz and Jactroll in the way he is. Because as I said, like you've got some LEC veterancy in the support and jungle role, but Diplex really stepping up to match that, working so well with them, and it's making a terrifying mid-jungle support.
Here we go, an attempted engage on the bottom side. Jeskla dodges it though, and Skeanz happy to be the front line. beansu caught on the top side of the play. It's Diplex not willing to go for more. I thought he was going to pounce into the whole team. I thought it was a little crazy, but he plays it safe for now. Charm goes wide, but the siege continues. Szygenda in the mid lane in the meantime. This is just beautiful Baron play, right? We get to witness as Vitality-Bee slowly but surely pick the map apart. And Dagda, I don't want to say it too soon, but LFL playing's looking real good right now.
Yes, say fini mon ami, but maybe not for Diplex.
Oh, he's got a broken stopwatch though. That's a nice little knock-up. There's one pickup. Can AGO Rogue turn it into more though? Jeskla caught the baby cage. The turnaround. There's the damage. Jeskla down. Double kill for Nite. Now on Szygenda as well. He's hard to kill. We've proven it in the last fight, but now charging forward. Sinmivak can't find the knock-up. Szygenda gets out.
Just an overextension for Vitality-Bee and AGO Rogue. managing to hold on in this game. They can at least clear out these waves. At least now when you're in your base, right, you can actually see what happens when you can get those front-to-back style fights off. We're able to hit onto multiple members, and Vitality.Bee can't quite get the flank positions that they want off.
So I want to take a second in between these fights, because I feel like these fights are just going to keep on coming now, Doctor. I want to look at the gold lead. I want to look at the dragon lead. It's 3 Drakes in favor of Vitality.Bee, as well as a 6,500 gold lead right now. We were pretty much dead even for the vast majority of this game, but over the last couple of minutes, it's exploded in favor of Vitality off the back of that Baron play. Now we have to see something magical from AGO Rogue. They have a wombo combo. They have big damage. They've had a bit of time to scale into things, you know, 3 items for Nite. But how do they actually muscle onto one of these plays?
That's the big problem that I'm seeing. Like, the vision control established by Vitality.Bee in this bot side makes it really hard to try and contest onto this dragon. They need to get a quick reset off at like a minute 30, push mid so that they can get priority there, and then move in as a unit into river. Because if you're separated, you can leave yourself open to picks.
Yeah, and beansu cannot fight against Szygenda right now. Look at the damage from the Gwen. Oh, it's a turnaround though. Nite finds one pick of his own. Good flash away, but Jeskla's over the wall. He tries to escape and he just finds himself in the fire instead of the pan. Szygenda taking a bit of damage, chasing Rabble out of the play. Rabble turns it around, but the golden Gwen saves the day once more. Vitality.Bee, they're making these fights look easy.
NFL looking pretty good. Look, they're trying.
Oh, the bullet time does nothing. It did nothing to them. Skeanz 2 down tanky. And now on to the next stars. Vitality.Bee starting Amazon EU Masters off the way they intend to continue.
I mean, the team that came through play-ins looking pretty damn clean, it has to be said. And if Ultra League are watching this, they kind of gotta go, oh boy, LFL looking pretty strong. Yeah, because that was confident play, confident design, and how they wanted to orchestrate this game from start to finish by the LFL representative.
Yeah, incredible stuff coming out from Vitality.Bee, and honestly, Szygenda especially, exceptional game coming out from him. Straight up lane diff up in the top side, had what, a 40 CS lead at like 10-15 minute mark, like just absolutely dominating, and then taking that into the team fights. We said, what's Gwen really great at? Team fighting. Szygenda clearly knows how to make that happen.
And that was the big thing, right? Like, I kind of looked at this, I was like, okay, once I saw these first 3 kills going over at the early stages to AGO Rogue, I was like, this is going to be fine now. Just playing it nice and smooth, set up your strong team fights, you're going to be all well and good, but that isn't what we got. AGO Rogue didn't get to the objectives in time. They weren't setting themselves up for success when it came towards those team fights. And Vitality.Bee did such a good job of playing around that pick potential from Diplex. Like, we consistently saw Jactroll and Skeanz there working with them. They got the pick onto Rabble before the 3rd dragon. They were always making sure that they're able to find themselves that early win. And you could see them take over when we got to the mid to late game.
All right, well, that is game number 1 of Amazon EU Masters done and dusted by Vitality.Bee, starting things off strong, getting their first win on the board. We've got another game coming your way right after the break. It's Kravena Zvezda versus Antrax Spandau. I'm English, okay? I'll do my best. We're going to a break.